I'm moving on, Carter, and if you want to waste your life podcasting the shit out of Alex every time you see him, then you can just drop fucking dead. Because Final Destination is coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tsevenin. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and today that is myself. I have never seen a Final Destination, any of them. There's Final Destination 1, 2, 3, the Final Destination, Final
Hmm.
Destination 5, and then Bloodlines just came out a couple weeks ago. Hence why we are covering Final Destination. Seems topical, seems referential. Tommy, I know this is a franchise that's near and dear to your heart.
Oh, totally. I mean, over the last week, I rewatched every single movie in the franchise. The new one, I'll get into it in a little bit, but the new one's really fun. It might be the rare six movie that's the best movie in a franchise. And I'm not the only one saying that, so it's not just a crazy hot take. It's gotten the best reviews ever of any of the Final Destination movies, and this one's more of a family feel. So, in
And I've
terms of
heard Bloodlines is it's more of like it's just schlock. Like
yeah,
there's no
you know what you're
pretense
getting into.
there's no pretense covering this up of like, oh, you have a Alex, you have a dark premonition hanging over you. You're able to cheat death, da, 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 da. And instead it's more of a just like, okay, the roller coaster is going to come across. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's shit like that. The roller coaster is the third one, by the way. So, but this franchise is just so awesome. I can watch them on repeat because they're the type of movies that you just watch like a little drunk with friends. Like I remember during quarantine, we did a rewatch of it. Most of our friend group, and we're just like, okay, we'll drink every time there's a death. That's it, and then we'll just get like really drunk throughout the course of the night. So it's a fun franchise in that aspect, but just great movies in the trashiest way.
Yeah, I mean, you do love Friday the 13th, which are trashy movies. So I guess
Mhm.
it shouldn't be too surprising to me that you're sitting here going, "Oh, these are just great franchises." Because I've only seen one,
Mm.
and I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
I get the point.
I get the point. I got the point 45 minutes in.
Hmm.
Ready for this to be over. But it was certainly a movie, which we will discuss in further detail from there. But Tommy, any movies that you saw recently that just came out or just you're catching up on TV?
So I finally got around to the Hugh Grant movie Heretic, which came out last
Ooh.
year. It's the movie where he pretty much is like a guy who takes in some two Mormon missionaries into his house and then pretty much debates them on the existence of God and religion and what that all means. So it's a movie that like is very much carried by Hugh Grant's performance, and it's one of those like things that reminds you why he was an A-list star for so many years. Because the movie just is like monologue after monologue after monologue of Hugh Grant debating religion, and yet you're hooked on it the whole entire time. So at a certain point, starts like lean towards more towards the horror side of things, but it's not as interesting as just listening to Hugh Grant just like debate these people over and over again. And like he has these little like ticks and mannerisms that he always does in his rom-coms and stuff like that. On this one, when he's like a little awkward, like, oh geez, it's very terrifying. This, it's like, oh my God, is Hugh Grant
Does
about to
he
kill me?
kidnap these people or
He basically won't let them leave his house for a bit, and like they have to like talk to him before they can leave his house, and he locked all the doors so they can't get out in any way.
oh no, what could I possibly do? Click or
Yeah,
out the door. So you liked that. I know you also saw Final Destination's Bloodlines too.
that too was amazing. Oh, not amazing, but it's really fun. Foundation Bloodlines, the new one in the franchise. First of all, Tony Todd comes back. He was in this one too, briefly as the
Yeah,
mortician.
he had a heat check. He had a heat check scene in this.
Yeah, yeah, he had a real fun heat check scene, and then Candyman himself, and then they brought. He was a character that kept on coming back in some of the entries in this franchise. Just randomly be like telling people like, "You're gonna die. You're on death's list." And in this one, they finally gave him like a nice monologue. This movie was filmed, I think, like 6 months before he died of like cancer, and you could tell he's very gaunt in the new one, just based on like how a lot of cancer ended up affecting him. But there's one scene in the end of the movie where like they tell him like, okay, now Tony Todd, forget the script, just say what you wanted to say to the fans on life, and he just went to the camera, improved it, and that's the take that ended up in the movie. So we see it's like, oh, nice. That's a really good, cool send off. They were able to give this like horror legend a little like cameo in one of his franchises right before he passed away.
What other franchises is he in?
His big one's Candyman.
Candy.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and he was also like a character actor that show up in so much shit. He was like one of the bad guys in The Crow. He was a bad guy in The Rock. So he kept on popping
He had
up
a
in like
nice little
90s.
career. He had a nice little career there.
Yeah, yeah. So he passed away last year. I remember he follows us on Twitter, which is cool. But regardless, R.I.P. Tony Todd. Great seeing you in movies throughout the years.
Legend, Tony Todd, R.I.P. Um, Nice to be covering one of his movies then. Um, I saw Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning. Um, so my main takeaway, did you see it, Tommy?
I have been rewatching all the Mission Impossible movies this week, so I'm waiting till I watch all of them to see this one.
Gotcha, gotcha. My main takeaway, spoiler free, is that Tom Cruise really wanted us to see him in his underwear in this movie.
Yeah,
It's one of my main takeaways because there's like two scenes of him just in his underwear for a long period of time.
that's incredible. Just shirtless constantly.
Yeah, shirtless, pantsless, just in his underwear. I was like, wow, Tom Cruise is single and he's ready to mingle and he's letting the world know it right here on the
Well,
big screen.
well, isn't he dating like Ana de Armas now?
I don't know.
That's the latest thing I heard.
That's
I've
that's the
been re
rumor.
Yeah. So I've been rewatching every single Mission Impossible movie this week. I am now on to Fallout as the next one. And it's even funny by the time you get to like Ghost Protocol, where like Tom Cruise in that movie's like, I need to be shirtless throughout this, and like I just need to have a little shirtless scene. Even by then, it's like your mid-50s, Tom Cruise, you don't need to have your shirt off in your movie.
Of the Mission Impossibles that you've seen, which one has been your favorite since we did Mission Impossible 1, now you're up through 5.
Yeah, so I've seen Fallout and the last one before, but on this current rewatch of just ones I've rewatched, number one still my favorite. Um, then Rogue Nation, which is number five. Number three, I really liked. I saw it for the first time. I don't know if you ever seen that one with Philip
I've
Seymour.
seen it, but you can definitely tell J.J. Abrams shot it, and it's just shot really television-y.
Yeah, it didn't feel too egregious to me when I watched it though. But I think Philip Seymour Hoffman in that
Oh,
movie just
best
carries it.
he's the best villain in the entire franchise. It's not even close.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That whole scene where he's threatening Ethan. He's like, you have a wife? Do you have a girlfriend? I'm gonna find her.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna.
hurt her."
You have a good Philip Seymour.
Yeah,
That's a good Philip Seymour right there. Just
just
like
right off the dome.
right off the dome. That was a really solid Philip Seymour. I didn't know you had that in you, Tommy.
Right there. I can do Philip Seymour Hoffman specifically in that scene from Mission Impossible 3.
That's it. That's okay.
Don't ask me to do another one.
That's like when people are like, I'm like, oh, I can do an Irish accent. I go, oh yeah, up there in the hills of Killarney, and that's all I can do. That's all I can do in my Irish accent, but I can do an Irish accent. You hear?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, don't
exactly.
ask for anything else in that
Yeah.
accent, but I can do it. But let me see. So this movie's definitely a little bloated. Um,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
it's kind of set up like an Avengers Endgame event movie more so than like the next
Another
Mission
Mission
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah, like it's very clear to me that Tom like because seven didn't flop, but it didn't make its money back. Um, and that was supposed to be part one. This was supposed to be part two, and they could just keep making them. This is really set up as a final send off to the franchise.
Mm.
I think if this one really, really exceeds expectations, it's still in a position where they could just get the gang back together and do whatever they want because it's Tom Cruise. You never know what he wants to do, but it just like from what he's been saying about it, it really is coming off like it's the final one.
Mm.
Trammell Tillman, who plays Mr. Milchick in Succession, he's in the movie for 5 minutes and he's just incredible in this. Loved his character. He got the biggest laugh of the entire audience from the entire audience when I
Mm,
saw. Um, and the two big action sequences are just probably the best in the franchise. And
damn.
you'll know them when you see them. The movie does take a little while to get going. Like the first 30 minutes is like a retrospective on the franchise
Mm.
itself.
So they're really building up like this is the final
The
moment.
opening of the movie is just Angela Bassett as the president doing the whole like your mission, but like they're trying to plead to Ethan to come do things, and it just like cuts to everything that Ethan's done in the history of the franchise. Um,
I, I mean, I guess it's
there's a
good
lot
timing.
there's a lot of flashbacks in this movie. Like I want to say at least 7 minutes of just flashbacks in this movie.
It's insane.
Christopher
Well, it's
McQuarrie was got hooked. He got hooked to it, man. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah. It's insane. Like the amount of people have been in Mission Impossible movies, like we're watching the franchise, like Anthony Hopkins shows up in two. We were talking about Philip Seymour, and like I kind of miss the presence of Alec Baldwin in these movies, even though it's probably for the best he's not in it right now.
Yeah.
Um, but like his reaction in Rogue Nation, where he sees like it's Ethan Hunt, and he's
When
like,
he learns that Ethan Hunt was right all along, in that scene in the London foreign minister. These all take place in London, by the way. Like they all end up in
yeah,
London. It's very odd in that regard.
mm,
You would think that considering the impossible mission force is set in America, they would finish in America, but nope, they just finish them all off in London. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a really fun movie. It's if it is goodbye to the franchise, it's a really good send off to the franchise.
mm.
Although give it 10 years and we'll have like Mission Impossible 9, The Force Awakens, and it'll just be like an old Tom Cruise like coaching whoever like Glenn Powell as as the new Ethan
It's
Hunt.
just Glenn Powell again. Well, it's funny. So like 10 years ago, real quick on the Mission Impossible, when Ghost Protocol came out, originally is written as a
Jeremy
handoff.
Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner's going to take over the franchise because Tom Cruise's life at that time, back in 2011, was just like pretty much in shambles. He wasn't opening in good movies anymore, and Ghost Protocol is really like the make or break. If most Ghost Protocol bombed, we wouldn't have Tom Cruise, the movie star we have today. And that's pretty much a pivotal moment in his career right there. But the fact that they try to do like the handoff right there, and like, no, we're not going to do that again.
Tom Cruise is
So
like, he's like, no, I'm gonna run up and down the Burj Khalifa to make sure that nobody else touches this franchise except for me. Uh,
yeah, exactly.
it's pretty much what happened there. But yeah, I would highly recommend Mission Impossible 8. Like, I think the interesting thing watching the franchise is that like I think 2 is easily the weakest
Mm.
movie in the franchise. It's not terrible, but I think it's the weakest one by far. Like, did you when you rewatched it, did you feel the Matrix influence in that movie?
So it was my first time watching it, and I just felt like it felt so early 2000s, like
Yeah.
the
Oh
type
well,
of,
it's 2000 and it's coming right off the heels of the Matrix in 99.
and then you have the Limp Bizkit song in it,
Yeah.
like the
Oh
Metallica
yeah.
song, where it's
There
just like this is so dated immediately in a way none of the other movies feel.
Yeah, but and like the editing is like weirdly choppy in that early 2000s kind of way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and all the black letters, like you said, like the Matrix. It's just like there was something in the air, like type of movies like Swordfish at the time, and even like Van Helsing or something like that. That felt in this vein of just cheesy action movies.
yeah, it's easily the cheesiest one of the franchise, I would say. And it's not even particularly close, how cheesy that movie is. But you got to tip your cap off because they have carried this thing for nearly 30 years. Also, the guy from Mission Impossible 1, who they steal the knock list from,
Mm,
he's back in this movie. He actually has something to do. Nice to see him.
yeah, he was in
This,
the last one too. I don't know if you saw the last one.
I saw the last one. He was in the last one, but I saw the last one before I saw the first one, so I wasn't going to be able to
Clock him, yeah.
lock him. Yeah. Um, Interesting. I didn't realize he was in 7 too, but he's got something to do in this movie. And it was a nice fitting farewell to the franchise, but hopefully this makes like $1.5 billion and they just keep pumping them out because if it does, they're gonna just keep making them.
Mm.
Unless Cruise is done with it. But I just have a hard time picturing that. Like I think Tom Cruise wants to die doing
Well,
an scene.
they're making a Top Gun 3. So like it's definitely in play that he does another Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, easily, easily. Yeah, I feel like he can just spend the rest of his career doing Top Gun movies and Mission Impossible movies and just not doing anything else, just doing those two
S-
characters for the rest of his life.
So, but yeah, like it feels like in a way that like so many people are thinking now that Tom Cruise is going to revert back to like his 90s run where he was working with interesting directors like PTA and Kubrick doing all these dramatic movies and like Sidney Lumet and The Firm. And like I feel like that era is kind of over. I feel like this
Oh,
point is like fuck it. I
we
mean,
covered this last week, but if you go through his IMDb page, since pretty much 2000, he's done with that. Like I think working with Kubrick kind of it's like, oh wow, I worked with the greatest director ever, but I never want to do one of those movies ever again.
mm,
And that's really how that feels. But Mission Impossible 8, go see it. Final Destination Bloodlines, if you like these kind of movies, after you hear us discuss the original, maybe you go check that out too.
mm.
And this is Final Destination.
Why did you get off the plane?
I got this feeling. I saw Death's plan. It's not finished. I know who's next. What are you, God now?
Ossis.
Rated R.
So, Final Destination is a supernatural horror film directed by James Wong, starring Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, Kerr Smith, and Tony Todd. Sawa portrays a teenager who saves the life of his classmates after having a premonition of a plane crash. However, he learns that cheating death has deadly consequences. So, Tommy, you're a big fan of this franchise. What is your relationship to all of these movies?
So I feel like there was an era of like 20 years ago, back when like we all had cable, where you catch movies on like so many channels. And for me, a channel I always tuned into was the Sci-Fi Channel, which I think was like channel 48, if I remember correctly.
I think you're
And
right.
they,
A Cablevision it was, yeah.
yeah,
We have
Cablevision.
a nation full of listeners, Tommy. The cable networks were
But
all
no, is it it's the crazy thing where like my mind still
it was
remembers like what channel each one
it
was. Like Comedy
was
Central is 50.
50, ABC Family was 49, and
Yeah.
Sci-Fi was 48.
Mm. And I always tuned into sci-fi and see what was on, like when I was like middle school and like fifth grade or fourth, sixth grade, and be like, "Oh, Freddy versus Jason's on! Like I gotta watch that." And there's the era of like movies like that, and like Final Destination 1 and 2, where I constantly saw them. I remember the first time I saw this, and I just saw only the opening scene of the airplane, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life." To the point that like this movie kind of sticks in my head. Of that one scene whenever I get on a plane, where I'm like, "Oh, like what's the worst case scenario that could happen?" Final Destination blows up in the air.
No,
Um,
very true. Would make flying difficult again, that's for sure. But let's
yeah.
talk about the opening of this movie. They're going on a trip to France. 40 kids are going on the trip. And
Hmm.
it's like this fun little like you get little character introductions here. It's one of these movies that you don't really expect a lot of character work, and there really isn't any because it's just not what
It's
these
not.
franchises are made for or built for. They're just kind of made for the kill scenes, right? Like that's what it's
Hmm.
always building up towards. Um, I liked where the name of the franchise got it from, where we see the luggage getting stamped at the thing and it just says Final Destination. I was like, oh, that's cute. Because a lot of times movies will say the name of the movie, but they don't say the name of this movie. They just put it on
Have it
luggage
right there. Yeah.
right there. But it's building up towards, oh, are we going to flirt with these girls when we're in Paris? Like, oh, dad gave me this much money, right? Like it's like giving you a little taste of life of turn of the century high schoolers. And
And a random scene of like them shitting in a toilet where it's like, the one thing you gotta do before.
with John Denver playing. Oh, that was a funny scene where his friend Todd's like, "Do you want Claire to come on the on the flight after you would and get your eyes stung because of your nastiness. And I was like, oh, all right, that's funny. That's cute. That's funny.
Yeah.
Um, but once they got onto the plane, Alex, our main character, played by Devon Sawa, sits into his seat. You can kind of tell he's a little uneasy about flying. Like he says to his parents, like, "Oh, I want to keep this tag on my luggage because it shows that this bag made it home safely." And then that's when he has the premonition, right? And we get to see the light explode. And I was like, oh, because I didn't realize it was a dream at first. I was like, oh wow, like I thought that it was just they were going to be on the plane the whole time and the plane was just going to fall apart continually.
It's gonna be like a time loop type of movie.
I know, not a time loop. I just thought it was going to be like a concurrent movie. Like I thought it was going to be like the flight to the end and everybody dies except for the Virgin because it's a horror movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like as someone that has never seen any of the Final Destination movies, like what was your relationship with this franchise? Do you know anything going in other than like this
I
is
knew
just a
there
movie?
was one with a roller coaster.
Yeah.
For me, you know me, if you've been listening for a while, I am not the biggest horror guy
Yeah.
out there, so I have no relationship to them. I would say 90% of my concurrent horror viewing is due to Tommy.
I'm proud to be your horror guide.
I'm proud to have you as my horror guide. I couldn't ask for anyone better because you've seen everything except for Leprechaun, apparently. And
The one franchise I won't
the
touch.
the one branch that you're just like, oh, that just looks.
I draw the line at Irish stereotypes.
Thank you. As someone of Irish heritage,
Yeah, I can't.
we tend to not care. We tend to suppress our problems until we die. That's the Irish way of doing things.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, they just always look like schlocky, junky movies, and I that's if I want something junky, I want an action movie.
Yeah, there is a similar like kind of like thing where to be honest, lately my viewing habits have been more action movies because it's the same type of schlock where it's just like, oh, you can see awesome kills and like cool one-liners or something like this. And Foundation serves us up great. Like the
This
line I said at the
this isn't really like it has a horror premise, but it's not like a gross out horror movie in any way.
well, it's more of like a thriller in some ways, and
It's
like the build up.
definitely more of a thriller with just like the horror. It's like horror paint thrown on a thriller movie.
Mhm. So the funny thing about this movie was that it was originally written as like a spec script for X-Files, and you could definitely see the like bones of that in this movie, like the fact that there's two FBI agents that are constantly being like, "How do you know that that was going to happen, man?" It's like
There's just
they
two
could have,
FBI agents that show up the whole time, and you're just like, why are you here?
yeah. It's like let's just cut them out. It's clearly supposed to be like in an earlier draft, like Scully and Mulder from X-Files,
Yeah.
but like the guys in this one aren't nearly as good. Like, as the X-Files
But
characters. So it's like
they just have nothing to they don't do anything. They just like kind of want to release Alex. Like it's just like another tension point, I suppose, in the movie, but it doesn't boil anywhere because it's I feel like when you throw a lot of trying to add a lot of tension and chaos in movies, but if your movie's runtime is like 90 minutes, you just know that a lot of these things aren't going to be followed up with.
yeah, thankfully, like in the sequels, they don't usually have a character like that. That's like, how do you know this? They're just like, oh, whatever. Like, fuck it, let's just move on. It's a Final Destination movie. You know
Well,
what you're in.
yeah. I guess
uh,
you gotta sell the premise at first.
yeah. So apparently, one thing that's funny is the guy who wrote this movie, I think it's Jeffrey Reddick. He originally envisioned Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst for the role of Alex Bryan and Clear Rivers, which is like the kind of equivalent of a guy saying like, yeah, like I want to date Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
like you're not gonna get those two, even back then.
Hey, now you can just buy Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap.
Yeah, exactly. That's out there for you. Um, so what do you think
Also,
about Devon's?
can I just say,
Yeah,
if you're a listener of ours who's slightly intrigued by Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap, I just want you to know it's not hers. It
yeah.
is just some soap that they made with some regular water, and she was nowhere near it. I just want to let you know. I just want you to know that ahead of time. Like
It's like telling a pervert that like Santa Claus isn't real.
what?
It's the pervert equivalent of like, oh, like Santa Claus isn't real.
Oh, the okay. I thought you said tell the pervert Santa's not real. I'm like, what do
No,
perverts and
no,
Santa
no.
have in common, Tommy?
No,
Um,
no, no.
it's like telling, yeah, it's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. I'm just here to warn you all before you drop whatever absurd price they're going to charge for
Mm,
that it's 100% not real. Don't
yeah.
believe it. But you were about to
But
ask me a question, Tommy.
well, no, but getting back to like the thriller horror aspect of this, there are some scenes that I've seen this movie like probably like 5 or 6 times at this point. There's still some scenes that like really just get underneath my skin. Like when I rewatched it the other week, um, the first like real death post playing of like Todd, the character in the bathroom,
That
that
one
still
is
gets
brutal.
that still gets me really uneasy because it's just like the fact of like that could the funny thing about the Foundation movies at their best is like this is something that like you could fuck up in like a shower or something like that and like get yourself
I
choked by accident.
I suppose
But it's still the
really
fact when
clumsy.
like when the clothesline like closes on his neck and he can't breathe. Like I remember like I was watching, I was like, oh my God, like
And he's
Jesus.
reaching for the scissors, and then you just see his like eyes shoot bloodshot red, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's over. I mean, you knew as soon as you saw the liquid ooze from the toilet, you're like, uh-oh, he is donezo. He is done for.
And it's
Um,
a weird thing with the franchise that in that one scene, like Death tries to cover his tracks for some reason, where like he like suctions back up the water so it doesn't see it, and the rest of the franchise are like, we're not going to touch upon that.
I think this entire franchise was ripped off from the Game of Thrones novels, and the God of Many Deaths or whatever it is, Jaqen Hagar's character. Tommy, I think you watched like season 7 and 8 when the show got really, really bad with us. So I don't even know if you know who this character is, but there's a whole arc for Arya where she goes to the many-faced god, and like that's her character arc is becoming a faceless assassin, and that, her the origin of that arc for her is that she saves a member of this religion, and he said you saved 3 men from death. Now we must offer 3 more to equate the balance of it, right? Because that's what this movie is
Hmm.
about. It's like you outsmarted or out destinied death. Well, it was your premonition for you to die. So you're
Hmm.
still going to die, and death will find a way.
Hmm.
And it's like death is the antagonist of this film itself, right? Because it's not like
Hmm.
some spirit, it's not like some spooky ghost, it's not some Scooby-Doo villain, it's just death itself
Yeah.
targeting people.
I do have to appreciate in this movie that like you don't see any like specter or like any real reflection for the most part whatsoever. Like apparently like, studios so that at one point they wanted to see like a physical manifestation of death in this movie, and that would have been awful. It would have been like a terrible generic slasher, which in some ways this movie can be, but
This movie is. This movie is.
but still I like that added aspect of like there's a little difference than like just seeing Michael Myers with a knife that we've seen a million times before.
I think it would have been really funny if death was like an inch tall and it was like a mouse and it would just like poke out of a hole like in the ground like a Tom and Jerry like hole and just like loosen the toilet valve, here comes the water, like, and he just like laughs, he just goes and then he just like scurries off, and then whatever happens happens. Like I
That's
think that
that's
would be funny.
that sounds like your impression for the Leprechaun franchise right there.
True, it might be. It might be. Hey, I am.
It might be. I haven't seen them either, so I don't know. But no, I do love like the little Rube Goldberg things that happen in this movie, where like especially with the death of the teacher, where like so many things have to go wrong for her to die. Where like all of a sudden like oh because like she left the vodka out, all of a sudden fire's gonna happen this way, and
Yeah,
that's gonna cause her computer
another
shards.
another thing I have to say is it has to be 51% alcohol for it to be flammable. Vodka is intensely 40% alcohol, so I don't care, but if we're gonna be realistic, she should have been drinking Bacardi 151. If we wanted to be scientifically accurate here,
Yeah, come
okay,
on, Final Destination franchise. You
yeah.
know, I can accept death premonitions, but I draw a line at vodka being able to be
I
flammable.
That's when I checked out of the movie. That's when I was done. I just sitting there spinning in my chair going, "Oh boy, how much more of this can I take? How much more of this can I endure, Thomas?"
Yeah, yeah. But it still feels like the added like tension of like what's gonna happen next, who's gonna die next is fun. Like I think one of the more fun moments in this movie, and I wish I saw this in theaters, was the scene with Terry where she's talking to everyone outside and she's going off about like how like if you
Oh,
guys want to go off,
this is the best kill in the movie.
yeah, if you guys want to like keep on fighting, it's the thing I said at the beginning of the podcast. You can drop fucking dead and immediately bus fucking hits her. She's dead immediately. I can imagine theaters that would have played like fucking
Oh.
bonkers. Everyone would be like, "Oh shit!"
And that death is inspired by Meet Joe Black. And I showed Tom
Yeah,
this car accident scene. When Brad Pitt and whoever the girl is in that movie break up, and he's like walking away. They keep like looking back and forth at each other, but they keep missing each other. He like stops in traffic, looks back, almost gets hit by a car, and then just gets plowed, like just like ricocheted from a bus onto like a sedan. It is so funny. It's such a funny scene.
yeah,
Um, Out of context, and like I saw that, I was like, oh, that's Meet Joe Black.
yeah, right there.
That's
So,
and it was a nice time, in the movies sense when they find the three survivors finally go back to Paris. They finally go to Paris. I can't imagine 6 months later getting on a flight.
yeah, one of the characters mentioned that. Like, I can't believe we got in a flight. Like, even if this whole like death didn't come back to like kill us type of thing, like
Yeah,
if everyone that got off the plane just survived and it was like normal life or whatever, 6 months later it would be like, hey, you want to go on another flight to Paris? Like, fuck no, I'm never going on a flight again. Are you kidding me?
I'm never going to. Yeah, I will drive a boat. I will do anything except get on a plane again. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Even like don't even factor in the supernatural things. You're fucking crazy for going on a plane again.
yeah, and then I really liked I think my favorite part of the movie was when it was Billy Carter Clear. I thought her name was Claire the entire time, but the subtitles kept saying Clear. I was like, oh wow, that's wrong. And then I looked it up and her name is Clear, which is
Mm.
strange name, I will just say. And then Alex are like in the car in the Camaro, and it's when Alex has finally seen these premonitions and they're trying to go hide at Clear's father's lake house. And
Mm.
I loved that kill scene too, with where Alex sees the premonition of the train and Clear stops on the train tracks and he's able to say
Or,
not Clear, Carter stops on the train tracks and he's able to save him, and then the thing ricochets up and just uh cuts Sean William Scott's head off completely. Like I
yeah.
like I like that scene. Anytime a movie has Sean William Scott in it, I just smile a little bit. I just
It,
smile
it
a little
is
bit.
it is kind of funny at his like career arc at this point. So this movie was like I think released like 6 months before American Pie,
No,
or
after.
6 months after rather, and pretty much like at this point, Sean William Scott wasn't like a hit or anything like that, but like they cast him off that movie, like off the set of that movie, being like, okay, this movie is definitely gonna hit. This guy's gonna be fucking it, and then they don't cast him in the douchebag role; they cast him in the nerd role, which is kind of bizarre. A little like
Nerd
flip.
role? I thought he was just dumb guy role. Like nerd in a 2000 movie is not being introduced wearing a New York Rangers jersey.
Well, more so like the kind of like goofy, like geeky guy, where like he's like getting bullied by Carter so much in it.
I mean, he had a run here where he had American Pie, Final Destination, Road Trip, Dude, Where's My Car, Evolution, American Pie 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Stark Raving Mad, Old School. Like that's a crazy run.
Yeah. It was great. He had like iconic movies and like so many different genres right there, mostly comedy, but still. And like now he's like mostly a sitcom star, I feel like.
Yeah, he was just on The Righteous Gemstones. He was on a couple
Oh
episodes
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
final
he's a couple
season.
episodes of that. I think he's in that new Tim Allen sitcom that looks like garbage.
Which
But
one?
hey,
The Shifting
uh
Gears.
shifting gears with Kat Dennings. I mean, hey, get that fucking back, Sean Williams guy. You deserve it.
He does deserve it. That's right. He does deserve it.
But
But
yeah.
he had a run there where he was just kind of showing up in everything, and it was nice to see him again. That's all I can say. Um, but
Yeah.
he's kind of like barely in the movie. He's like the last guy to make the poster.
Mhm. which is so funny, like based off like a year later, like a year earlier, he was like,
Year later, he's starring in the movie.
exactly. Like, what do you think of Devon Sawa?
He was fine. He's just a little. He's doing the brooding thing, which like doesn't naturally draw me
Mm,
to a character, but like that's what the character was, right? Like kind of brooding and moody after like 40 people that you know die.
yeah,
And you saw it
and you predicted it.
and you predicted it. Yeah, and everybody's looking at you like you're a weird guy. Um,
If I could touch upon the plane crash real quick, because there's like so many shots that move scene where it's like kind of freaked me out. But like I find it so odd this time I rewatched, like realizing how much they cut to the fucking like mentally challenged guy on the plane.
oh
Like
yeah.
so many times over and over again, I was like, all right, do you need to keep on like cutting to that one guy in this fucking movie over and over again?
They're trying to provoke sympathy from the audience
Yeah.
before it's about.
Yeah, and then when they get on the plane, they're like, "Oh, like it'd be a terrible guy to kill, to let this plane go down." When you see a baby on the plane too, it's just like, "All right,
He
we're
says
going
it
there."
first when he says it's a baby, and then it keep going, and then it's like,
The
oh,
guy
that
in the
would be
wheelchair.
really evil God if that happened. I
Yeah.
mean, I know it's that kind of movie, but who talks like that going onto a plane like, oh, yeah, this plane isn't going down. There'd be an evil God to take this plane down. Like, I never think about that kind of stuff before I go on a plane. Like, talk about psyching yourself out of doing something.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I don't go on. I've been on planes since 2017, to be honest. It's been a while.
Really?
Yeah, I do not go and I do not fly that often.
Are you scared of flying?
I feel like that's a part of it, and also just because of like my schedule. But like, yeah, whenever I get on a plane, I think of this movie, and I think of like other like plane crashes where I'm like, okay, like top five pop culture plane crashes. This is probably up there.
I guess, yeah, no, I mean, I fly a decent amount, but uh,
Yeah,
I do not freak myself out on it because flying is safer than driving. So,
yeah. It's one of those anxiety things where like I hear that, and I'm still just like, okay, but could blow up, or it could be silly Soderbergher.
so if you wanted to come down to see me, you'd rather drive than fly.
Yeah, was it like a fucking like 15, 16 hour drive, if that?
From you, yeah. From you, yeah, it would be 15, 16 hours.
Well, I have a flight to Denver this year, so I gotta get over it soon.
Ooh, going to
Yeah.
Denver, going to a concert.
Going to a wedding. So
Ooh, fun,
yeah.
fun, fun.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So, but yeah, anyways, still gonna be in the back of my head the second I step on that plane and be like, what if I have a premonition right now?
That's what
And this is
Xanax is for, Tommy.
yeah, exactly. So it's I'm kind of not shocked after rewatching this though that Devon Sawa like didn't have much of a career.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, like a lot of it was alcohol related, but I feel like there could have been an era where like you could have seen Devon Sawa pop up in a few more action movies. He's coming back a little bit more now. Now he's like
yeah.
sober and he's been
You can just see in pictures of him, like nowadays, it's like, oh, he looks kind of rough.
yeah. I worked at HorrorCon where he was one of the guests, and unfortunately, not a lot of people at his table. I was shocked by that.
I could see that. I
Yeah.
mean, like what is he really known for outside of Final Destination 1, Final Destination 5? You know, like I'm on his Wikipedia page and some of the movies he did in the middle of his career or like direct to video don't even have pages on Wikipedia, which tells you about how
He was Casper in the Casper movie when Casper shows his human form.
oh, really?
Yeah, and he was also in SLC Punk. I love that movie, but it was very brief. And he was in Idle Hands the year before, which is a movie where like he's the lead and like his hand gets possessed and starts killing his friends, including Seth Green.
He was in Slackers as well. But yeah, it just never popped for him. And I can kind of see why. Like it seems like he would be if he. I didn't see it. This is the only movie I've ever seen with Devon Sawa in it. But I feel like if he could be a character actor, he would be better as a character actor versus being a leading man.
Yeah. Uh, Ali Lauder was fine though. She pops up in the second one. The second one, I don't know if you know the scene of like if you ever heard the scene where like the log truck goes through crushes through someone's windshield.
No, I don't.
Oh,
A log truck crushes through someone's windshield?
so basically to go down a brief run through the franchise, two is a highway accident, a log truck derails and causes logs to like crash through people's windshields and kill them. and like other thing happens on the highway. It's insane. Three's the roller coaster. Four is like they're at a NASCAR event. Cars like fucking fly and kill people. It's really dumb, bad movie. Five is a bridge, and then six one's like the Seattle, uh,
Area.
like Sky Tower kind of thing.
Yeah, the needle.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, where like basically that collapses and kills people. So there's a lot of premonitions in the franchise. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert for the entire franchise. My gosh, Tommy.
Yeah.
Give people a break to catch up here. Uh, but let's talk about the ending because I actually quite enjoyed the ending and it elevated it for me when they get to France and they're sitting at the cafe.
Mhm.
And of course, they have their handy dandy seat chart from that original flight to just check the premonition log here of everything that's going on. And it final like the next death happens and the big cafe sign above starts to fall down as Alex is trying to run away. He gets the fake out of the bus and then Carter saves him from the sign and then the sign comes down and is about to hit Carter and we just cut to black and that's the movie and I was like, all right, I like that. That's a good way to end the movie.
Yeah, it was really like a way like yeah, they're all fucked, and it's obviously leaves you out with a bang. Like I'm sure if you see this movie in theaters, people will be like, "Oh fuck yeah!" It gets you like hyped up right at the end of the movie. So what's funny was right before we recorded, I watched a DVD feature um, of this movie where like it was like the power of like test screenings or something like that. It was a real like marketing thing where apparently the original ending of this movie was a lot different. There's a whole subplot of this movie of Ali Larter and Devon Sawa being in a romance, which would have been awful.
You could see the inklings of it because he kept Ali Larder kept calling him baby in this, and I'm like, they've like hinted that there was a romance, but all of that clearly got cut from the movie.
Yeah. So the test screening audience was like, fuck that. Like, no, we don't need that at all. Like, that's terrible. And like, there's going to be a whole thing where at the end of the movie, when Devon Sawa grabs like the electrical cords and saves her, he was going to die. But before he died, he got her pregnant. So she had a
Oh,
kid, and that's how she beat death. So the end of the movie was Devon Sawa's dead. He saved her. She had the baby. She cheated death, and then Carter cheated death because of that too. So it's gonna be Ally Larder and the fucking Jock character both survive, and apparently test audiences were like, "That's awful." No, like that's so like that like ruins the movie. Why is Carter the one that lives? We want Carter to die. So it was so funny, like a marketing thing where like Robert Shea, the executive New Line, was on this DVD feature talking about it, and like other test screen announcers were like, "Yeah, I guess sometimes in a movie like this, we know we gotta listen to the audience. Steven Spielberg doesn't get test screens, but we do because we're Final Destination."
yeah.
Like they literally say that they're like straight up, just like we're a type of movie that will get test screen, and we want to make sure it's good for the audience. And they realize like, okay, so we got to devise an ending that's different for this movie. They spent $2 million just on that last part, just because like Robert Shea was like, we knew that this would be a hit if we just got that one last scene.
I mean, it paid off. $23 million budget, 102.9, 112.9 million box office draw. Like clearly they made their money back and then some. And I mean it's the horror people love horror and they can get made cheap. Like it's horror doing this podcast and watching a lot more horror and just kind of understanding the industry more. It really is the backbone of the industry. And when these bigger
Hmm.
studios like buy away from it, they're just throwing away money.
Mhm. Because there's so many cases where like they make a movie for $5 million that ends up grossing like 80 million or something like
Yeah.
that. At that point, it's massive profit, and it feels like the only mid-budget movies that are made anymore that get released theatrically are horror. So
Yeah,
it's still just like
easily.
yeah, it's still the recurring cash cow. I mean, this new Final Destination movie, Final Destination Six, had a budget of 50 million and already made 230 million on the box office. So it's like horror's here to stay. We're always gonna have more movies. There's probably going to be a Final Destination 7. I'm probably going to see it opening weekend. And
Opening weekend. You're going to be there opening night. You're going to be the first one in line a day in front because all the
yeah,
apps
yeah,
are going to crash and you're going to have to go back to the way things were and you're going to
yeah.
have to go buy it in person. But yeah, it's horror is the backbone of the film industry and you could just see why a movie like this plays. Like pretty straightforward in what it does.
It's like an ultimate sleepover movie.
Yeah,
This franchise in general. I remember like watching the third one at a sleepover in middle school, where I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, "Oh my God, we're gonna watch
basement movie in middle school, high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'll always play like that. We didn't, we touched on Tony Todd at the top, but we should talk about him
Mm,
here, where Alex and
mm,
Clear break into the funeral home, I think it was,
mm. Yeah, or the
and
morgue. Yeah.
that was the funeral home because they were cleaning up the body of Todd,
Oh yeah.
and Tony Todd is just there in the shadows and just delivers a monologue on escaping death and how you can't escape death, and
Mm,
it was a total heat check moment. And I
mm.
was just like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then they leave, and then he's just not in the movie again.
It's very funny that he just like pops up randomly and be like, "Yeah, you can't cheat death. You're fucked. I don't know what to tell you. I'll see you soon." Well, that's his last line too.
It's
He's
like, I'll
like,
see you soon. It's like, is he the guy? Is he death himself?
Yeah, and that doesn't pop up again. But he pops up in the second one. He pops up in the fifth one, and he pops up in this new one. And like every time, it's the kind of the same role where it's just like he's the expert on death. He's the mortician. He
He's
knows
the
death.
mortician. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
All right, Tommy, who is the star of the show? Who gave the best performance in your opinion?
I think on rewatch whenever I see this, I always just love Keir Smith as Carter. It's just such a fun douchebag performance,
Such
especially
an
his one
early,
scene.
such an early 2000s performance.
Yeah, yeah,
Full
it
ability
really
to
feels the
perform.
age, but it's just so much fun. Where especially that one scene at the train where he's like, "It's not my time. It's not my time." Like you said at the ending, I just love that final line of like, "So who's next?" Boom, dead.
Boom. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. He gave a good performance. I mean, Devon Sawa gave a pretty good performance too. I really liked Ali Larter in this. I
Mm,
just feel like she's the character that I think the audience is m most easily able to sympathize with and
mm,
connect with, I feel like, because she's the one who's like, all right, I trust our lead here, but like I also recognize that this is weird.
mm.
Kind of
Yeah,
the whole way through the movie. She doesn't really have any family to speak of.
mm.
That was so sad, like at the airport where all the families come in and we just see her character, no parents come, and then she just gets dropped off by Alex's family, like in the rain at their house. I'm like, wouldn't you think like after 40 of your classmates died and instead of dropping you off at an empty house, be like, why don't you grab a bag and just stay with
Save
us?
someone. Yeah,
Stay with us for a couple of days, okay? We'd feel more comfortable if you weren't home alone. That was the other thing too. It felt like the only person with the correct response was Todd's dad, because Todd had a brother who died on the plane crash, and he was just like, I hate you, Alex. Like, you caused this.
yeah.
He's like the only person with this reaction. Like, Alex's parents, like, the dad has like one more line in the movie once it happens. Um,
He's out
and
of the movie once Todd dies. He's like, "This is your fault," and it's like, "All right."
yeah, he's out of the movie. And then Alex's parents, like the night they get back from the plane crash, like, they're all watching the news, but they're just passed out. I'd be like, how could you possibly sleep
Yeah,
after
like
something like this?
all this fucking happened. Like it would be like the talk of the town constantly. I mean, I think the teacher gives a good performance too, Valerie Luton. I just like in that one scene where like she's like alone in the interrogation room with all them, and she says to Alex, like, "You just creep me out, man," and and she just like runs away.
Yeah. No,
So,
yeah, it's
and she has one of the more fun Rube Goldberg type deaths in this movie.
yeah, she definitely does. But I mean, I'm gonna say Ali Larter. I just liked her character. I liked her performance, and I thought she gave the best one in the movie.
Mhm.
Ah, are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
Tommy, would Final Destination work as a Muppet adaptation?
I say 100%. I think that
Oh,
you could find a way.
1000%.
I think you could find a way of this movie where it's just like Kermit has a premonition that like during
The
the Muppet
Muppet
Show,
the Muppet Show is falling
Gonzo's
apart. Yeah.
got falling apart. Gonzo's cannonball is the actual cannonball this time. It takes off Miss Piggy's head, and then the stage collapses on top of Fozzie, and then like something else happens, blah blah blah. And like all this felt happens, and the Rube Goldberg
And he
aspects
just
happen
saves
more
like
often.
and he just saves like the Swedish chef and Beaker and Sam the Eagle, and like that's just the rest of the crew the rest of the
And
movie.
Death is played by Rizzo the Rat this time, so it's just like, ha, he's gonna push the
Yes.
marble that causes
Yes, we're
everything to
tying it
happen.
all back together. That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So it just goes over and over and over again, like, ah, you said I gotta get you right here.
And
Yeah.
throw it out from there. But yes, Final Destination as a Muppet movie, 1000%. Disney, get it done here. We can save the Muppets. Just combine the Muppets and horror. And
Yeah. Final
give people
Destination made
reasons.
$250 million. The next frontier they have to go to is one or two avenues. Space or Muppets. Let's go Muppets.
Yes, 100%. Or the Muppets in Space Final Destination, just two for one.
Yeah.
But Tommy, review time. Give me a score out of five.
This is always a tricky movie, a type of movie for me to review because it's a movie that I have a lot of fun with. I've rewatched it a ton, but I have to admit there are some flaws to this movie. I mean, I think some of the performances can be a little stiff at times, but I think the tension's fun. The airplane sequence lingers in my head constantly, and I just love the whole like Rube Goldberg type deaths and just really
Hasn't
fun
flown in
movie to
eight
watch.
years. That's how much it sticks in your head.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 5. Fun movie. I mean, constant rewatchable for me.
So I'm gonna go 2.5 out of 5, and I put it there because I understand the appeal of these movies. It's just not for me, right? But like
Yeah.
the kill scenes are great, but everything in between is just kind of like, oh gosh, okay, okay, okay. And
Yeah.
when a movie that's 90 minutes long starts to feel its length, I go, oh God, oh God, oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my thoughts. But it has its charm. The kill scenes are great, and obviously its success has nothing to do with my opinion of this movie. So it's on its sixth franchise film, and if you like these kind of schlocky horror movies, you're going to enjoy this. And if you don't, then probably skip it. That would be my recommendation. That's why I have it a 2.5 out of 5. All right, Tommy, any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Make sure you have no premonitions. They're very dangerous. So, anyways, thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on social media. That's at Seen It Pod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, occasional thread. We're also on Blue Sky. That's podseenit.bluesky.social. And leave us a 5-star review. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast helps us out, helps us grow the show. And we have a fun month coming up, so stick around and check it out.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you next time.